Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and we're just one day away from Apple's Let Loose event where we'll see new iPads and more. We also have more to talk about with iOS 18, some upcoming products, and iPhone 16 as well. This is the weekly Apple News Update for the week of May 6th, 2024. Now, participants who won the Swift Student Challenge as distinguished winners are now getting a certificate in the mail. Vedant on X or Twitter showed the certificate they received, and it's just sort of a nice certificate they were able to maybe frame or put somewhere that they won the student challenge, and also they're invited to the Apple event, WWDC, in June. So it's great to see Apple sending that out. They should also be receiving AirPods Max to go along with that. Apple held their quarterly earning results call this past week, and they actually reported $23.6 billion in profit with $90.8 billion in revenue. Services hit a new revenue record, and Tim Cook said that they're looking forward to an exciting product announcement this week, with this next event taking place tomorrow. Consumer intelligent research partners say that while iPhone 15 Pro models are selling similarly to iPhone 14 Pro models last year, iPhone 15 and 15 Plus are actually doing worse. This makes sense since maybe the people that are buying the 14 Plus and 14 don't really probably update every year, and there's less of a tendency to maybe get a new phone. So that's something, as well as having a great battery life on the 14 Plus, many people just may not feel the need to upgrade to the latest phones until maybe next year or in a few years at this point. However, there's news today from Counterpoint Research saying that the iPhone 15 Pro Max is now the best-selling phone in the world, beating out the Samsung S24 Ultra. So that's according to their research. Apple doesn't give specific sales numbers, that this is based on typically the supply chain and how many they've actually shipped. So that's something we're seeing now where this goes back and forth, but it's great to see them maybe as the number one again in the world. Apple Watch has had the AFib detection feature for some time now, and it's recently been qualified by the USDA to be sort of a medical device as far as in a developmental tool program. You can see their announcement here where it says FDA qualifies Apple's atrial fibrillation history feature as an MDDT. So that's something which means medical device development tools program, and it's the first way you sort of can measure this non-invasively to check AFib history. And you could use it for clinical studies. So that's great. If you want to read more about it, I'll link it in the description. There's 5 new Apple Arcade games coming soon to Apple Arcade with Ubisoft's Rabbids Legends of the Multiverse, and many of these arrive either at the end of this month or next month in June. If we scroll down, you can see that we have Rabbids Legends of the Multiverse, as I mentioned before, with Return to Monkey Island Plus. We also have Tomb of the Mask Plus, Fabulous Wedding Disaster Plus, and within the details here we have Hello Kitty Island Adventure, What the Car, and Ridiculous Fishing EX, and more, it says. So all of those are coming either at the end of this month or next month. Apple also announced a new Prde wallpaper and watch band and watch face, and if we scroll down, you can see what it looks like. I think it looks pretty good overall. It's a new watch band to go along with that new watch face, maybe in a new font. That's something that we haven't seen before, it appears to be. And if we scroll down, we have more details as when it's releasing. On May 22nd in the United States and Canada, and then May 23rd in other regions for $99. Also, to get those wallpapers, those will be part of iOS 17.5, iPadOS 17.5, and watchOS 10.5 according to Apple. Now, based on what we typically see, we can expect iOS 17.5 RC sometime after the event tomorrow. Now, it could be right after the event. That would be unusual since it's a bit early, or around 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Then we'll see all of the features, and the code will contain all of the new products. Then we'll have iOS 17.5 public release typically in a week or so on the 13th or 14th. Apple could change this up, but we don't know until they say that. Also, there's still no sign of iOS 17.4.2. We're waiting for that, hopefully to fix issues with the alarm clock. Maybe Apple's just waiting until 17.5 at this point to push that out. That would make the most sense. Then we'll move on to iOS 17.6, and of course on June 10th, we'll see iOS 18 Beta 1. Now, Apple's Let Loose event tomorrow has some updates here as far as what we can expect, and if we go to Apple's website, they've updated it here to sort of hint at the new pencil. If we just sort of swipe our finger on the logo here, you can erase it. If it loads properly, you can erase all of these and just come back and do that as it keeps loading. So that's been updated. And then also you can see the time if you're not familiar with it already, 7 a.m. Pacific time or 10 a.m. Eastern time. Very early for an Apple event, so we'll be able to watch that there. And the recent news says that it's going to be about 35 minutes, according to Mark Gurman. He expects it to be about that. And as far as the products that we expect to see a new iPad Air. A new iPad Air in a similar size that we have here, also with a 12.9-inch variant, similar to the iPad Pro. So similar displays as we have now with LCDs, but possibly a landscape camera. So those are what we expect there. And then with the iPad Pro, that's where we would see the big updates. iPad Pro is expected to have sort of an all-new design as far as its thickness. It's expected to get thinner, maybe more rigid with different materials, have a thinner bezel, also have a landscape camera, a new chipset, and even MagSafe on the back is possible. That's been long rumored, and we could see something like that. Of course, we're expecting a replacement for the Magic Keyboard, so that's something that could be aluminum, according to Mark Gurman, and maybe even have an M4 chipset inside. Also, we're expecting a new Apple Pencil. Apple Pencil Pro, according to the Japanese website, leaked today. Someone found this in the code that was on X or Twitter that found that in Japan, there's a new mention of an Apple Pencil Pro. I don't know if that's the best name, but that goes along with what Apple already has. And then maybe Vision Pro could be mentioned in that event at the end or something along those lines where it would launch in more countries. As far as weekly deals, I'm not going to talk too much about that, as I would recommend you wait until after Apple's event. So things are discounted, whether it's iPads, if they're replacing those. We'll see discounts on older ones as they're getting rid of stock from maybe Best Buy or other places. But if you still want to get AirPods Pro 2, those are available typically around $189.99 from Apple on Amazon. So I'll link all of those in the description, but I would probably wait, at least on the iPad side, until after the event tomorrow. With iOS 18, of course, we're expecting a lot of different changes, and we're hearing even more as more and more leak out. This time around, Apple Insider is saying that Safari will have a new intelligent browser tool that will summarize any web page. That reminds me a lot of the Arc search browser, where you can go in, it can sort of summarize or browse for you with Apple Vision Pro, find all the information, and then summarize all of that for you. So that's something that would make sense to have sort of built in and be on device on iOS 18. Also sort of a safety measure where it could wipe all of that information to go along with it. Messages may get a similar feature where it can understand and respond to messages or just sort of summarize those. And Spotlight Search is also apparently improving overall results and working better with contacts and calendar. So we have seen a lot of things with that, such as podcasts in iOS 17.5, but we'll see further improvements with iOS 18. Now, one of the odd things we heard this week was from analyst Jeff Poo, who claimed that Apple is working on a 20.3-inch foldable device to come out late next year in 2025, and then a foldable iPhone in 2026, according to a statement he made to 9to5Mac. So we could have a foldable iPad or maybe a Mac, we don't really know for sure, but a foldable device overall. So that would be something that would be maybe appealing to a lot of people that don't want as large of a device. You could fold it up and bring it on the go. iPhone 17 also has some news, according to the same analyst, Jeff Poo. He said they're working on a smaller dynamic island for next year's models, along with a new slim model of iPhone 17. So instead of being the plus size, they've tried mini and plus, now they may try slim, but that would explain the smaller battery size that we've been hearing about in the next phone. Today it was said that model will feature a 6.55-inch display. So I don't know that many people want a thinner iPhone. I think more people would want a larger battery, but we'll see what Apple's trying probably in another year or so. At this point, of course, Apple's hard at work getting the iPhone 16 ready. Now, we've been hearing a lot about iPhone 16 models, getting different updates, maybe some redesigns with certain things, more buttons, but it seems there could be a slimmer MagSafe magnet on the back, according to Shop System, who's a French-based case company. It looks like, according to them, the magnet itself could be thinner. Now, that doesn't mean it's not as strong, it just means it could take up less space, have the same functionality, aligning the charging, or just to use it for a dock. So we'll have to wait and see, but based on what they're showing so far, it looks like that. A leaker on Weibo has said that the iPhone 16 models will have infused glass, similar to what we have now on the 15 and 15 Plus. Recent leaks also suggest that the same sort of glass would be used on the Pro models. It has a really nice texture, it holds it directly in the glass itself, and if they could make this maybe in a Pro color, I think that would be really nice. So maybe they've made progress there. Of course, both of them feel pretty good if you don't have a case on them, but either way, we could see the same sort of infused glass on the next models, probably in September when they launch. Now, Apple Watch Ultra 3 is said to get almost no changes in this upcoming year. Last year, many people expected us to get sort of a space black color, so maybe we'll see that, but there's not really any hardware changes that are expected, according to a statement made by Ming-Chi Kuo to Mac Rumors. So he didn't reveal anything else, just that it would basically be very similar, and that's what I would expect. As far as anything else, well, Macs and AirPods should be updated later this year. At this point, we're not expecting anything with this next event tomorrow or in the coming months. At WWDC, we see all the software. Maybe we'll see some more Mac Pro models with M4 or something along those lines, but don't expect any AirPods just yet unless we have some changes as far as the leaks go. Right now, it looks like Macs and AirPods are coming a little bit later. Let me know what you're most excited for in the comments below, and I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already, though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.